Republican Senator Josh Hawley out of Missouri, member of the Judiciary Committee on the Senate side. Sir, thank you for being with us today. What do you think about the back and forth here? It looks like Adam Schiff is going to fight for his job, is he not?
Well, it certainly sounds like it, but I think he probably should resign. I mean, look, this is somebody who has for over a year and a half now been spreading blatant falsehoods, and they have been shown to be falsehoods. And he's done it unapologetically. He's done it with an agenda, and this is not what we expect from our elected representatives.
Here is the president on releasing the FISA records with Sean Hannity last night. On the telephone, he said the following in an interview that went on for about 45 minutes. But here is the section about the FISA warrants. Here, watch.
It was treason. It was really treason. If the Republican Party had done this to the Democrats, if we had done this to President Obama, you'd have 100 people in jail right now, and it would be treason. It would be considered treason, and they'd be in jail for the rest of their lives.
He also says that he wants to make the FISA warrant public. Will that happen?
Well, I mean, I think that's certainly something that we ought to look at, and I think we ought to go further. I think there ought to be an investigation. I think there ought to be a special counsel. And I've said, look, I mean, we've got the FBI launching a counterintelligence investigation. That's for spies. A counterintelligence investigation of the President of the United States, trying to conceal it, trying to make sure that there's no oversight of it. What's going on here? I mean, we need to have an investigation to make sure that the people are actually in charge of this government, not the infected, politically biased leadership of the FBI or any other agency.
You know, the president tweeting today, and I want to pull this up, on Adam Schiff. He says that the congressman who spent 2 years knowingly and unlawfully lying and leaking should be forced to resign from Congress. He also said in an interview with Sean Hannity last night that Mueller's Russia investigation was an attempted takeover of our government, and that he wouldn't rule out pardoning Michael Flynn and others, saying that, you know, many people were hurt. He even said that under the Obama administration, 100 people would be fired over this. You know, there's a double standard here, clearly, but our head's going to roll.
Yeah, well, they should roll, and they should have rolled a long time ago. But let's just go back to his comment about the FBI. We've seen this before in our country. We saw it from J. Edgar Hoover when the FBI tried to collect information, bully politicians, bully leaders, and run the country, essentially. We cannot go back to those days. We cannot allow politically biased leadership in any of these agencies to try and usurp the role of the people. That's why we need to have a special counsel to look into this. That's why Congress needs to hold oversight hearings, put these people under oath. Bring them in front of the public and make them answer for what they've done.
Lindsey Graham said a similar thing last night. Here is James Comey on NBC now. Watch this.
There was smoke, and enough smoke to justify investigating, and obviously there was overwhelming evidence that the Russians were interfering in the election to hurt one candidate and to help the other. But whether Americans were conspiring with them, I didn't know, but we had to look at that.
Do you take this as a rebuke of you and your leadership and the FBI?
No, I actually see it the other way. It establishes, I hope, to all people, no matter where they are on the spectrum, that the FBI is not corrupt, not a nest of vipers and spies, but an honest group of people trying to find out what is true. I thought that's potentially obstruction of justice, and I hope somebody is going to look at that. Again, the president appears to be saying, I don't know what's in his head, which is why I can't reach the conclusion. What he appears to be saying is, I got rid of this guy to shut down an investigation that threatened me.
The interview went on from there. Sir, we are 5 days removed from Bill Barr's initial summary. Where are we on this story as we seem to be uncovering more and more material every day? When a lot of people thought once the Mueller report came out that would put an end to it, it doesn't appear that to be the case now, does it?
No, I mean, the more we learn, the more disturbing it is. And I agree with James Comey about one thing, that there ought to be an investigation, but he ought to be answering for his role in this. He ought to be answering for his actions. Andy McCabe ought to be answering for his actions. I mean, look, the people are supposed to control our government and the people's elected representatives, including, by the way, the President of the United States, not the FBI, not people who had a political vendetta against this president. So we need to get some answers here. We need to put these people under oath. We need to get the facts.
President Trump, I want to move on to Obamacare, and the GOP senators reportedly divided over the Obama-Trump administration now calling to overturn the Affordable Care Act. The Wall Street editorial board writing about how it's a losing health care strategy. Is trying to find a replacement for Obamacare a big mistake if that is at the forefront of the 2020 election?
Well, I mean, what's a big mistake is forcing people to continue to pay higher insurance premiums year after year. In my state, insurance premiums have gone up over 100%. That's thanks to Obamacare. Nobody can afford their insurance. And now the Democrats want to take away all private insurance and force everybody onto public plans. I mean, this is exactly the wrong thing to do. We've got to get health insurance costs down. We've got to get prescription drug costs down. And we need to move forward on doing that.
One final topic, sir. The Google CEOs of the White House yesterday, and the president sent out a tweet assuring the American people that Google's on the side of the U.S. military, not the Chinese government or the Chinese military. How do you think this went?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, Google is not a transparent company, to put it mildly. I mean, this is a company that has chosen to do business in and with China in a way that at least indirectly benefits the Chinese military, but won't help the United States Armed Forces. I mean, this is a problem, and I think Google's ever-shifting answers on this, I've said they need to come out publicly and say exactly why they are prioritizing China over the United States of America, the Chinese government over United States citizens. So let's hear from Google on the record. Let's hear directly.
In time, perhaps we shall. Sir, thank you for your time today. Josh Hawley, the Republican from Missouri. How are you enjoying your time in D.C.? Was it everything it was cracked up to be?
Hey, it's great. There's a lot of work to do.
Indeed there is. You're only 3 months in. Come on back soon. Thank you.
Great seeing you this morning.
All right. 22 minutes now before the hour.